Shalom, shalom. This is the brother Michael Ward from GMS Lake Charles Camp, coming at you again with another video through the Spirit. But before I do anything, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who strive and taught us this truth, and blessings to you brothers across the four winds, pushing this truth and sincerity. All right, not sure what I'm gonna title this video, but today I'm gonna talk about how we need to be working. We need to we need to be working, man, on a day-to-day basis. Not getting too comfortable in this truth. Because by you getting too comfortable, and you get to start taking days off, man. And by you taking days off, before you know it, 3-4 weeks done went by. No videos been put up. No works have been done. And how the Lord look at that, man. We should be working on a day-to-day basis, man, because we don't know, if we're going to make it. We don't know if we're going to be on the Lord's good side, when he makes their return. That's why the scriptures say, work out your salvation with fear and trembling, man. So we should be working on a day-to-day basis, not taking days off, man. And another reason we should be working, because you don't know that the exact day or the hour, Yahushua is going to make their return, man. Because you can be done, Salaki, let me slow down. You can have done got comfortable, took your eyes off the prize, and before you know it, the Lord is on his way back, man. Before you know it, you haven't been working. Before you know it, you done went 6-7 months without putting up a video, man. Now your candle has done been blown out. Now you don't have the Spirit on you, man. Now you done fell out the truth, man, because you have got too comfortable, So the Lord took that Spirit away from you, But we must continue to work, man. As long as you have this truth, you have the Spirit, upon you, you have to work. You have to continue to do what the Lord is pleased with, man. That's the only way you will be found up on his good side. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 36. It say, but that day and hour no man know, not the angels of heaven, but the Father only. Right? Only Yahweh knows when Yahushua is going to make their return, man. No one knows, because look at our people today, man. If they knew the exact hour that Yahushua was going to make their return, they would wait till the last minute to get right, man. That's why it's set up this way. Because niggas always wait till the last minute to do something. So no one knows, when the Lord is going to make their return. That's why you must be working. That's why you must be, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Putting up these videos, reading, feeding the sheep, so on and so forth, man. Those are things that the Lord is pleased with, man. Let me jump down to 46. And I'm going to read it in the NLT. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 46. It say, if the master return and finds the servant has done a good job, there will be a reward. Right, man. There's a reward for doing the things that pleases Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. And only the elect man is going to get their reward, not everyone. Because only the elect man is going to be found working, when Yahushua makes their return. Verse 47, it say, I tell you the truth. The master will put the servant in charge over his own. Right, man. But in order to be in charge, you have to be working, man. And I'm reading this in the NLT. This is verse 48. It say, but if the servant is evil and thinks my master will not be back for a while, and a lot of people think that, Yahushua, prolonging his coming. A lot of people think that the Lord is not on his way back, man. That's why, you have people that take their hand up off the plow, man, and begin to look back into the world, thinking they got all the time in the world, but you don't have all the time in the world, man. That hour, that hour that Yahushua is so close to coming, man. It's so close. This is verse 47. It's saying, begins beating the other servants, partying, and getting drunk. The master will return unannounced and unexpected. Right, man. Unannounced and unexpected. A lot of people is going to be caught off guard, man. You know, because they're not looking for the coming of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. You know, a lot of people have done, you know, got comfortable in this thing, you know, or left the truth and went back into the world, thinking that they got all the time in the world to get right, man. You know, you have people that leave the camp, you know, leave the camp for let's say 4-5 months, start coming around again, then leave again, then start coming around again. You basically playing with the Lord, man. You know, now is the time to work. You know, it's not the time to get comfortable, man. We wasn't sent down here, you know, to be here forever. You know, we wasn't sent down here, you know, to store up these riches up on this side, man. We were sent down here for a punishment. But pretty soon, Yahweh Shai is going to come back and see, hey, what's been going on, you know? So we must work. But it say unannounced and unexpected. What is saying 1 Thessalonians? Let me grab it. I'm gonna start at verse 1. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. It say, but of the times and the season, brethren, you have no idea, you have no need that I write into you. Salaki, let me start it over. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. It say, but of the times and the season, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. Right. And who are the brethren? You know, the brethren is the Israelites, man. That's what it's talking about. Let me get that in Romans. You know, this is not talking about everybody. Everybody is not a brother, man. This is Romans chapter 9 and verse 3, and I'm gonna read to verse 4. It say, for I could wish that myself were accursed for Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh. Verse 4, it say, who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenant. It says, in the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promise. Right. That wasn't given to everybody. That was only given to the Israelites, man. You know, so this right here, you know, we're speaking into the Israelites, man, because salvation is only for the Israelites. It's not for everybody, man. You know, if you're not an Israelite, you know, all the other nations outside of the Israelites, man, you're going to go into captivity, man. You know, and rightfully so, man, because we're going to pay y'all back for everything that y'all done to us. You know, but back to the point that I was making. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. It say, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so come as a thief in the night. Right, man. The Lord is going to catch people off guard, man. But to the men of the Lord, to the prophets, you know, the Lord is not going to catch us off guard because we are measuring the time. And how are we measuring the time? You know, through the prophecies that begin to take place, you know. But you're going to have certain men who take their eyes up off the prize, man, who stop watching, man, who stop watching the prophecy, you know, and get distracted with the things that goes on in this world, you know. And by you being distracted, that's when the Lord is going to come back, you know, and catch you off guard. But then it's going to be too late for you now, you know. That's like let's say your I love making this point. Your dad leave, man. He gives certain instructions on what to do and what not to do. You know, hey, this got to be done by the time I get back. You know, if it's not, then it's consequences. You know, y'all done played around so much. That way, you know, hey, when Yahweh Shah come back and find that y'all still playing in bull. Let me see. Oh, this is what they gonna be saying. This is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 22. It say, many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? In thy name done many wonderful works? You know, people gonna be saying that. You know, the ones that had a taste of this thing, you know, the ones that was actually calling upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you know, these are things that they're gonna be saying, you know. But, you know, they wanted to go back into the world, you know, or they was playing around, not knowing that this thing is very serious, man. You know, they was getting too comfortable in this thing. They was, you know, being lazy, you know. Those are the things that's going to be saying. But what the Lord going to say, this is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 23. And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye work of iniquity. Right, man. So the Lord gonna say, I never knew thee, man. Depart from me, you know, because you played around, man. You didn't want to get serious, man. You didn't want to, how I want to put it, you didn't want to work, you know. You was thinking everything was a joke, man. Thinking that the Lord delayed his coming. But he didn't, man. It was certain things that had to take place, man. You know. But yet, you know, you wanted to play around. So it's consequences for that, man. That's why we must continue to work, because we don't know, you know, if we're going to be up on the Lord's good side when he makes their return. The scripture in Matthew, it say, think not that I come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. The Lord is coming back for destruction. So if you haven't been doing the things that pleases Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, you're going to partake in that destruction, man. You know, the Lord is not coming back. You know, it's not going to be a good time, you know, when Yahushua makes their return, man. You know, I mean, it's going to be a good time for the elect because they're going to get delivered, you know, but it say the elect is going to scarcely be saved, man. So if you haven't been working, you know, what that leave you at, man? Coals to the fire, man. Partaking in that sword. So if you have this truth, continue to work. Continue to strive for greatness, man. The scriptures say, hold on, I gotta grab it. This is Revelations chapter 22 and verse 12. It says, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So ask yourself, man, have you been working? You know, have you been doing the things that pleases Yahweh Bashim Yahushua? You know, are you up on the Lord's good side? You know, have you been calling upon the Lord? You know, have you been doing everything that the Lord asks you to do to the best of your ability? Ask yourself these things, man. You know, and don't bullshit yourself, you know, because the Lord knows. And if you've been doing everything that the Lord asks you to do or told you to do, you know, you're going to be up on that good side, man. But if you haven't, hey, it's destruction. You know, there's no other way around it, man. You can't get around the punishment that the Lord has set up for those who loaf the law, man. You know, but, you know, Lord willing, you know, this lesson was edifying. You know, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who strive and taught us this truth. And peace and blessings to you brothers across 4 winds, pushing this truth and sincerity. Until next time, Shalom.